It is the 41st millennium. Mankind battles for survival across the universe, besieged on all fronts by the heretic, the mutant, and the alien. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. One faction of Space Marines stands amidst the chaos, the mightiest of the Emperor's warriors, and a beacon of light in the darkness. This legion, the 9th Legion of Adeptus Astartes, the Blood Angels.
Hello, my beautiful subscribers. Let me know if you can hear me now. Hello, hello. How are you guys? What a nightmare I've had this week. Apparently a very new SSD decided to fail on me, and just about everything was on my desktop, and because it was a very new SSD I really hadn't backed up anything. So now I've got about 5 backups of my YouTube music, of my OBS scenes, of everything. I've gone crazy, I've gone completely the opposite way, so I've got a million backups of stuff because this week has been a nightmare. I'd have probably finished these heavy intercessors last week if it hadn't been for I turned my computer on Friday night. It blue screened to death one time. I usually don't work on a Friday night, so I was just playing a game. It blue screened to death and then never started up ever again. So that was fun, but we're back. I've still got some work to do on OBS scenes and stuff, but I guess we'll see. I'm going to do the army show tomorrow as normal, and I guess we'll see what I'm missing as we go. So welcome back. Sorry I've not been here for a week. I guess that was pretty much me out of action for a week. I still have one device in Device Manager that's saying unknown device, so I maybe got a tiny little bit of setup still to do, but we're going to start painting. But I'm going to start by washing all the metallics on these heavy intercessors, because these guys are close to being done. How's everybody? I hope you've all had a good week. Sorry there was no tactics video. A few of you guys said you really missed not having a tactics video on Friday. That felt very cool. Thank you so much for the people that reached out and said that. Sometimes you do wonder when you're making YouTube content if people care, or if people, because not every video gets all the watchers or all your subscribers, right? So people that actually reached out and said that they missed the Friday tactics video, that was kind of nice. That made my day on Friday, because I did feel a little bit crappy not being able to put anything out. But yeah, I basically had to spend like... So the new hard drive arrived on Tuesday, so I couldn't do really anything until Tuesday because I needed to try and back up some of my stuff. So I spent like Tuesday night backing up, I spent Wednesday night I guess reinstalling, and then Thursday night downloading and reinstalling. I think I've lost all my save games for every single game I play on the computer. But I think I got all my... Because there was a hot minute there where literally every single YouTube thumbnail was on a drive that had failed, and I was like, oh my god, I've made like 700 thumbnails, I don't have any of them. Blood Buffalo, welcome back, nice to see you. Robin, hello. Do you think it's good putting a captain with heavy intercessors? I don't think he's needed. What would the captain bring them? I guess it would bring them the ability to get a free stratagem every turn. But the heavy intercessors, I feel like the captain could do more good in another unit, right? Heavy intercessors are kind of just going to want to stand on a point and be survivable. I suppose it's not the worst thing in the world to get a free Armor of Contempt every turn on them. But I don't know if I feel like that's worth, what's a captain, like 60, 70 points? I'd rather put a captain in a unit that could actually deal some damage. And I don't see heavy intercessors as a damage dealing unit. Mike, welcome back. You've sent me a 3 Land Raider list. 3 might be a bit extreme, because I've got 2 in my current list, and that feels like a lot of points invested in Land Raiders. But do you know what, we'll check it out. I will be live tomorrow night at like 8 o'clock to do the army show. I think everything should be set up. You're just going to have to bear with me for the next week if there's any like technical issues or little hitches with the stream. I have been really guilty of not saving settings and stuff over the last 18 months or something since I got this new machine, so I guess you don't expect a computer that's only 18 months to have a hard drive failed, right? Maximus missed the army list show as well, or the weekly tactics video. I appreciate that, Maximus. I'm glad some people missed it. So I only got like an hour just now, because I've already spent a bunch of time in this room trying to get set up for this first stream. So hopefully, like the camera looks like it's working. You guys, I can't, like, if I've set this up correctly, then the sound quality should be similar to what it was before, and I guess the visuals should be equivalent to what they were before, right? So like, technically, it should feel like it was before. It just took forever to get it back because I had to set it all up from scratch, basically. John will send you my list. I got second in a local tournament with Sangre Guard squad. Good for you, man. I didn't think anyone was actually running Sangre Guard. Did you attach any characters to them? Or, and I take it you just ran a 5, or did you run 10? I can't imagine anyone's running 10. I actually can't really imagine why you would take Sangre Guard over Death Company, but I mean, maybe there's a reason to take them? I like the Power Fists on Death Company now, I really do. I played Grey Knights on Monday night, and Power Fists being strength 10 is really nice into Terminators, right? Because it was like, oh, I have lethal hits from Lamartes, and because my Power Fists are now strength 10, I wound Terminators on 2s. So without playing any sort of stratagems or anything, I'm wounding Terminators on 2s and have lethal hits. Knucking! Good afternoon, how are you? I still have this package here from you, Knucking. I'll need to figure out and get it set up at some point. It's been a busy couple of weeks. Phil, how you doing? Welcome back. It's nice to see you guys, and sorry I've been away. I feel like when the computer died that first night, I felt very weird. It's like there's something, like, I rely on my computer a lot. I kind of hate like even checking my emails on a mobile phone because of the tiny little screen. I just generally don't like the fact that like everything is app based. I prefer looking at it on my computer screen. So when my computer dies, I'm like, feel a bit like a lost puppy. I don't know what to do. So for like a couple of days I was just like, man, it feels so weird to not have a computer. I mean, I use my wife's computer a little bit, and But it would have been like, I couldn't really use her computer to do any of my content because I would have had to start taking like cards and stuff out of this current computer, and I didn't really want to do that because I tried to get the graphics card out when I was replacing the SSD because I know a little bit about computers, and honestly couldn't figure out how to get the graphics card out. So I couldn't have even used my wife's computer if I wanted to because I couldn't figure out how to get the graphics card out. It's had computer meltdowns. Yeah, I mean, an 18-month SSD shouldn't really fail, should it? Yvengi, how you doing? It was. So I brought a really powerful computer in April or May last year. No, 2022. So it's about 18 months old. And it was a really, really powerful computer at the time. And I bought it to save me a lot of time on video editing, right? Because on my old machine, it could take like 2 or 3 hours to render out some of my YouTube videos, and that would be like, I'd have this new computer could render them out in like half the time, maybe even less actually. Like it can render out like a 20-minute video in 20 minutes, whereas the old machine took like 2 hours. So it was a really powerful computer with had like one of these new Samsung M2 drives, and I've never owned an M2 drive before, which was kind of part of the problem because I had no way, like my old computer didn't have an M2 drive bay, so I couldn't like pull the drive out before I got the replacement and try and copy anything off of it because I didn't have another system that has an M2 drive. So apparently the M2 drive that I bought, even though it was Samsung and it wasn't cheap, it's like 150 bucks, just decided to fail after 18 months. And I mean, people told me that those M2 drives are supposed to be super reliable, right? So I guess I just must have got unlucky. It just booted up one day. It booted up last Friday night, absolutely fine like it normally does. I booted up a game. At the moment, the only game I'm playing really is Heroes of the Storm, so it's not even a big game or a demanding game. It's like a 6-year-old game. So I just jumped on Heroes of the Storm to play like a quick match or whatever, just like for half an hour before bed. And as I was in that match, it just blue screen to death, and then it just at the BIOS after that it just said like, your drive is about to get imminent failure, please make sure you back up your data. And it did basically fail right after that. I managed to get a bunch of data off of it one time, so I must have rebooted the computer 50 times trying to get data off of it, and 49 times out of 50 it was unreadable. So for whatever reason, one time it was readable, I managed to copy a buttload of stuff off of it, so I think I got really lucky. But yeah, at the time you don't feel lucky, right, when you've got no computer and you can't do anything. I have my first gen M2 running for 8 years. Well, yeah, exactly, it shouldn't be failing after 18 months. But do you know what, it was good that it failed after 18 months rather than like another year, because it was in like a 2-year warranty. So the company that I bought it from were very good. They actually don't even have the broken drive back yet. They just said like, oh, it's in warranty, we'll just send you a brand new one. So I have to return the old drive on Monday, because I said to them, can I hang on to it for a few more days to see if I can get some data off of it. I tried a bunch of times to get some more data off of it. It's just nothing. Every time I plugged it in, it just hung basically and told me that I needed to format it. So we're back. So I haven't even looked at 40k since Monday night when I beat the Grey Knights. Did anyone else enter the Tabletop Tactics? Anyone else? Is anyone above me in the leaderboard of the Tabletop Tactics app? Because I think their app is super cool. I'm going to play Kev this week. I already asked him, is it going to go in the app? So it's going to go, another game is going into the open leaderboard. Yeah, they did replace it for free. They even did postage for free, so like I don't have to cost anything. So it's good that they did that. And I've got one device left in like Device Manager that's like reporting like unknown device or something. The guy said from the company that he could remote into the computer this weekend and have a look and see if he can see like what device is reporting as an unknown device. He gave me some more software, like it's probably something for the BIOS or something like that. So I've got a few more things to try and install but it does seem like we're back up and running. There was the smallest signs that something was going to die like a week or two before, right? Like I'd seen the computer was running slowly a couple of times. But here's the thing, right? Like, I'm always editing giant video files. Like, some of these video files could be like 10 gigs, 20 gigs. So sometimes when you are editing giant video files, stuff gets like lost in RAM or something like that. And like, if I've done a bunch of video editing and then I want to play a game, sometimes it's just best to restart the computer, because if you don't restart it, it's like a bunch of that RAM or a bunch of your system resources are kind of, in a weird way, still being hogged by the video editing software, even if you've closed it all down. And I've always sort of felt like that, and I've always noticed like little glitches in some of my games, right? Like little lag spikes, whereas if I like just reboot the computer, then there's no lag spikes. So there was like a couple of lag spikes last week, like when I was playing a game or something, you know, and I was like, oh, you know, but I just, like, when you're editing a lot of video files, sometimes, I guess, after you finish editing, that stuff does run a little bit slower, right? Like, at least that's my experience, right? Like, I'm no expert, but I do feel like that is my experience. So, like, last week, there was just, like, 1 or 2 times where the computer just was, like, a little bit laggy or something. And I was like, oh, that's a bit weird. But I just, like, brushed it off. Like, oh, I was probably editing a big video earlier than today or something. Anton says, which red do I use? I use Evil Sun Scarlet, Anton. And it's an old red, right? Like it's a much I was gonna say it's a much brighter red than Mephiston red. So it gives you guys a bit more of a, like, this was a bit more of like a 2nd edition paint scheme than the current Blood Angels paint scheme. What's actually surprising, Anton, is I haven't actually done a video for the channel where I just paint a red marine. Like, just how do I paint a normal Blood Angel? I've never made that. I think if I have time, like, if I have some time off in the summer and I have some time without the kids, I will make that video. I would say I'm not skilled in making painting videos. I don't really make painting videos. But I will eventually make a video on, like, which red I use and how I do it. I think the only painting video that I made that was of any decentness was my Sangre Guard video, and it's a very simple Sangre Guard video, but again, all my colour schemes are kind of simple, right? Try and make them simple to do them quickly, but I'm actually not that quick. Chronosing hasn't entered the league yet. You should just enter, man. It's cool. Did I see the Vanguard Tactics battle report? I didn't. I watched another video by Vanguard Tactics this week. Like a lesson. But I didn't actually watch their battle report. Yeah, so what I normally do for Blood Angels, here's a guy that was sprayed. So I normally spray them white. I sometimes use Games Workshop white. More recently I've been using the Colour Forge white because I feel like it's just as good and it's half the price. Then I actually either spray or paint them Mephiston red, like 1 coat of Mephiston red. You could do that with a spray if you wanted. And then, oh, let me not move that. And then Evil Sun Scarlet, which, where's that compared to Mephiston red? It's quite a bit lighter. And then I do 2 coats of Evil Sun Scarlet. This guy actually had 2 coats of Evil Sun Scarlet, but I think he might need a 3rd one because maybe I put this on too thin. It looks like he's a little bit chalky in places. Do you know what? That's kind of interesting. You can see the Mephiston red on his gun versus the Evil Sun Scarlet, because I never painted his gun arm, right, with the Evil Sun Scarlet because there was no point, because the gun's going to be metal. Or his arm's going to be like metallic or metal. So you can see the difference. But yeah, I think this guy might need 1 more coat of Evil Sun. So you do like a couple of coats of Evil Sun, and then the trick is to wash it. So all these guys, they haven't got any edge highlighting on them, they just have a recess wash. You can see in all the recesses, it's dark, and it's just a recess wash of Agrax Earthshade. That's all I do. like a recessed wash of Agrax Earthshade all over the model, and then I try and tidy it up a bit. So like anywhere that the wash has left like those sort of puddle marks, I guess is what you would call them, right? Where the wash has been put on too thick and it's left a puddle. Then I go back and try and just tidy those up with Evil Sun. So I guess if you're a beginner to painting and you don't want to do edge highlighting, and you want something that's like battle ready, then this is what I do, and I think it's pretty decent. Probably the reason I started doing it this way was because I was much younger, right? Like, I've been painting this army for 25 years. I probably should have more painted, considering how long I've been painting, but it's what it is, I guess. I did actually respray a bunch of models that I'd painted when I was a kid, because I'd painted them completely crappily. So I just sprayed them white again and just wanted to start over, because I was like, yeah, I should have probably waited until I'd painted everything else before I did that. Because then you sort of create, if anyone's ever doing that, you should wait until you've finished everything else before you do that, because you're just creating like a giant backlog of work for yourself. But that's what I did. The Vanguard charge advice video was really good. It was good, yeah. I was thinking maybe I could do some sort of variant on it. It was a good video. I enjoyed it. Steven's content usually is pretty great, or Vanguard Tactics content is pretty great. I guess at one point it was just Steven. Now it's like a host of them, right? But yeah, if nobody heard, we're also doing a GT in the summer here. I would have probably posted about it already because we're getting ready to sell tickets, but because my computer was all dead. So this week, probably what I'll do is I'll make a community post with tickets for the GT, as well as like some branding assets for the GT. So we're going to do a GT here in Scotland in June. So that'll be good. So I guess my next GT will be here in Scotland, and if any of you guys can get here, that would be great. If not, I'm sure there's a bunch of local people that'll come as well. But the plastic crackheads are all going to be there. So pretty much everybody on my channel, everyone that fights me on my channel, will be at this GT, and yeah, if it goes well, which I imagine it will be, because people seem genuinely excited. On the first day we announced it, when we didn't even really have a website or anything, we already had like 30 or 40 people interested. And I was speaking to Andrew, we're going to see if we can't stream like the final or some of the games from the GT. So some of the games might end up on the Plastic Crackheads. Some of them might end up on BAC, so we'll see if we can't be live at least with some of the games. Hopefully the final, maybe something else, right? Eva Gale, hello, how you doing? Yeah, I mean, I guess if you live on the same continent. If you don't live on the same continent, I understand. Do you know what I mean? I got a very generous offer from one of the channel members just last week, or just before my computer died, to come and stay with him in Chicago to go to Adepticon in a future year. And when I mentioned that, there was loads of people from chat that were like, we're in Chicago, or we're close to Chicago, so apparently we have a big Blood Angels following in Chicago, so maybe that's a thing I'll do in the future. I told my wife about it. I said to her, I got invited to go to the Chicago Adepticon. I believe it's kicking off like right now. I think it might have even been this weekend, or maybe it's next weekend. So obviously I'm not going this year, but I think in a future year I will definitely try and get out to Chicago. That sounds like a right blast. Plus I get to meet some of the people that are always here, always supporting the stream, always on the channel, right? You're going to need a few more months. Well, it's 4 months away, Buffalo Bill. So you've got a little bit of time to get here. But yeah, I think, I assume if this GT goes well, we'll try and do more in the future, and maybe we'll make it like a yearly thing, because usually once tournaments become like a yearly thing, they can get bigger and they can get more people, and we've got a good venue for it, so it should be, I was going to say, it should be pretty fun. I've never run a GT before, so it'll be a learning experience, but you know, I really wanted to keep sealing trailers for as well. Like, has anyone seen the new Dune movie? I really want to see it. I think I'm going to have to wait until it comes out in Steelbook. But I really, really want to see it. Anyone got lucky and gone to see it? I think it was today or yesterday it came out, right? It's so difficult to get to the movies when you've got young kids. Buffalo Bill, Blood Buffalo is going to Adepticon next year. Chicago is a reasonable drive, cool. I'm not sure if I'll get next year, but maybe I'll get the year after. But I think my invite there is like an open invite. It's not for like a you must come this year or for a specific year. So I'm hoping to get out there at some point. I think that'd be super cool. What allied detachments would you run if you have the choice? The most fun I've had with allied detachments probably in the last couple of years was the Arcs of Omen season when we could run Guilliman. So I would run a Dark Angels or an Ultramarines detachment, and I would take a Primarch. I'm still hoping we get some sort of pseudo Primarch for Blood Angels, you know that? It does seem like we got 4 people in chat already talking about Adepticon. It does seem like that would be a good tournament for me to go to. Like, if there's a bunch of people from chat that are like, because James, well, it was James Fisher, because there's a few Jameses that watch the channel. James Fisher was the guy that came to Scotland last year and sent me a random message saying, I'm coming to Scotland from Chicago. Do you have time on like this Saturday to hang out? And I was like, yeah, James, let's hang out. And then let's play 40k. So we hung out, had a couple of beers and played 40k. And then he was like, and he was the one that messaged me. He was like, you want to come to Adepticon, you can stay at my house. Guilliman was great at the end of 9th edition. He was so powerful for Blood Angels. He basically gave you +2 to charge and reroll all 1s. I don't want to say it was army-wide, but it kind of was, because it was a 24-inch bubble around him, and his base is already pretty giant. Like, he's the size of a dreadnought. So basically, half the table, you were getting +2 to charge and reroll 1s. It was huge. I had so much fun playing Guilliman in the end of 9th edition. I hope that they have another crazy season like that at the end of 10th edition where they sort of relax all those allied rules and let people take all the fun stuff, because yeah, it doesn't make sense to have it all the time, but it definitely helped the end of 9th edition, like kept it fresh right to the very end. And like I said, like I honestly thought it was a lot of fun. A lot of people made fun of me for running Guilliman with Blood Angels, but Guilliman was hot, man. In one of my tournament games, because I ran Guilliman with Blood Angels to a GT, in the game I had against Necrons at the GT, he killed the Silent King, who's like on a 2-up save with 16 wounds, and like, I mean, I guess the Silent King probably had like toughness 8 last edition. I actually don't know what his toughness is now. It's probably 10 at least. But Guilliman just walked in there and killed them in 1 turn. 1 round of combat, rather. you just like use the Emperor's Sword and just destroyed him. I think I ended up getting like 12 mortal wounds, because every 6 is like a D3 mortal wound. So I think I got like, maybe it wasn't 12 mortal wounds, but it was, or maybe it was 12 wounds plus enough mortals to just instantly kill the Silent King. It was glorious. So I'd love to be able to have some fun like that. There's a big rumour going around about Blood Angels at the moment that we're getting some sort of like Sanguine, or we're getting a Lamarta's refresh, we're getting an Astaroth refresh. I've seen obviously Valrak's been talking about it. Sometimes he's right, sometimes he's not. But with what we saw that what we saw the Dark Angels get was pretty decent, right? Like a bunch of new characters. So, if Inner Circle, I actually don't know the full name of the Inner Circle guys they got, but there's like a new type of guy they got that was like Inner Circle Guards or something like this. Maybe they were just called Inner Circle Guards. So they got like Inner Circle Guards, and they got like Asmodai, Belial. Did they get a third? I mean, they already has Azrael and the Lion, so they've got like 4 Primaris characters now, including a Primarch. Did they get one more? Did Ezekiel get someone? Is there someone called Dark Angels? Did Ezekiel actually get like a Primaris, or was he left behind and they just did the other ones? But we've already had that Black Templars refresh, right? So we've had the Black Templars refresh, which was the same, like 4 or 5 characters went Primaris and a bunch of new Primaris squads. So maybe it's really only a matter of time, right? Like, Games Workshop like to sell models, we know that. So they're going to try and sell us like a big Blood Angels refresh. Probably every named character eventually becoming Primaris. A bunch of our squads, including probably Sangreguard, becoming Primaris. Hello Shrek. A lot of Blood Angels models need a remodel. They're pretty old, aren't they, Shrek? Oh, I should put the chat. What have I missed? Like I said, this is a new OBS setup. Where did I thought I put the restream chat. I guess not. There we go. Okay, so anyone on Twitch is not chatting to themselves. Everyone can see the chat. Sorry, I lost my C drive last week, so I had to reinstall my entire computer. So I knew that there would be some hiccups on the stream. That's hiccup number 1, is I forgot to... I apparently didn't set up a button to turn on the chat so everybody can see each other's messages. Cool. Not the end of the world. JT Money, you must be in Discord by now, dude. And if you guys get 2 seconds today, please like the stream. It always helps with the YouTube algorithm. Much appreciated. The battle reports have been getting an insane amount of likes. They've been getting like really good views and likes, so thank you to everybody that's been doing that. I think it's partly because I'm playing Sons of Sanguinius again. And in a way, I'm really happy to be playing Sons of Sanguinius again. I'm still not 100% convinced it's as strong as Gladius, but I am winning every game again. So I've played Sons 3 times since the data slate, and I have won every game. I've got Eldar on Wednesday night. So if we beat Eldar and we go 4 games in a row with Sons, then as much as maybe I am convinced Gladius is better, I think maybe Sons is a little bit viable. Obviously it's going to help a ton when we get a codex. Hopefully we don't have to wait too long for that, right? Chronosetting's enjoying Sons of Sanguinius game. Do you ever use coloured primer as a primer in base coat? Sometimes. Well, I use black. The 3 priming colours I typically use are white, red and black. Oh, but I've used the. Do you know what? I'm lying. I use the gold as well. I use Retributor Armor Gold. If I'm painting any models that I want gold, I'll prime them in Retributor Armor. Sometimes with the Retributor Armor primer, I feel like you still need to actually paint a coat of Retributor Armor on top of it, though, because the primer probably doesn't give you quite the same consistency across the whole model. But yeah. If I'm priming, it's usually the 3 colours. I've used up all. I've just recently moved to Colour Forge for my white. I'll probably move to Colour Forge for my black as well, just because the Colour Forge bottles are bigger than the Games Workshop ones and they are cheaper. So you get more paint and you pay less. And having used Colour Forge a few times now, I feel like I can say there's basically no difference between Colour Forge and Games Workshop. So I don't know. The only reason I would buy Games Workshop spray now for white and black is if this shop that I'm buying them in doesn't have Colour Forge. If they have the Colour Forge stuff, I'm going to buy that every time. You've actually just reminded me, I've got like, I need to buy another white because I've got no white paint left, and probably need to buy another black here before too long, so maybe I should just order those this weekend. Maybe. We'll see. My theory is the end of summer for the Blood Angels Codex. I think if it was the end of summer they would have announced it already, because they've announced a bunch of Codex. The one time I've used Retributor Armor Spray, it ruined a model, so I'm not using that again. I've used Retributor Armor Spray for all of my Sanguinary Guard, all of my Vanguard Veterans, and all of my Blade Guard Veterans, because I painted all those models gold, because they were all, like, quote-unquote first company, and I felt like they all deserved to be gold. I always, if I'm using Retributor Armor Gold, and I don't know if this is the right approach, it's just the way I've always done it, and I think it was probably because somebody must have told me, I sprayed all my models black first, before I sprayed them Retributor Armor. TM Punk says, what's your thoughts on Death Company with jump packs becoming Death Company Assault Intercessors with jump packs? Do you think they will phase out Power Fists and Infernals? If they do, then that makes that squad hell of a lot weaker, TM Punk. And that squad's probably what's doing a lot of the Death Company, Firstborn Death Company with jump packs is probably doing a lot of the heavy lifting in the Sons of Sanguinius lists. So if you take that away, it's probably a pretty big nerf. Monkey Llama also said Retributor Spray ruined my Sanguinary Guard. Did you guys spray it just straight onto the model, or did you spray a base coat first? Because I never had a problem with it, and I've got 30 Sanguinary Guard, I got 20 Vanguard Veterans, and I got like 10 Blade Guard, so I did 60 models. I must have bought, I want to say that, and then I probably did like Dante, the Sanguinor, my old Dante, my old Tycho. So I must have, I want to say I've bought, in my lifetime, I've bought at least 2 cans, maybe 3 cans of Retributor Armor Spray, and I never had a problem with it. But I always sprayed them black first. I don't know who told me to do that, but I think it must have been Kev, because Kev's who I'm playing on Wednesday night, but he is very, very he's been doing the hot, like, I was going to say Kev's super old. He's not that much older than me. He's almost he's probably like 6 or 7 years older than me. So when I was dumb 15-year-old, Kev was like the 20-year-old guy telling me what I needed to do right. Excuse me. That went down the wrong way. Cool. Well, I'm glad I'm back. I'm glad the computer seems like it's working. I haven't really done any checks on the computer to see any temperatures or anything like that. I've just assumed that it says, let me see. Does Windows not tell you the temperature? It tells you the temperature of the graphics card. It's only, oh, it's 60 degrees. That's actually kind of hot. Isn't it? 60 degrees? Is that standard for a graphics card? 60 degrees Celsius. And it will not tell me the speed of the processor, or the temperature of the processor. I don't know why anything with that stuff would have changed, but I haven't reinstalled a PC in forever, and well, you used to, when you reinstalled PCs back in the day, you used to reinstall it from a disk. That doesn't even happen anymore, because that was my first problem. Was like, I need to reinstall Windows. I'm pretty sure they didn't send me a Windows disk with the new PC I bought, because PCs don't really ship with Windows CDs anymore. Because I was like, I don't even know how to get a copy of Windows. How do you even do that these days? I actually haven't even activated Windows on this new computer, which is weird. It used to pop up on old computers like, you need to activate Windows. I don't even know where my Windows... I mean, it's legit, I just don't know where the key would be. Oh, they said it was on a text file on the USB stick, actually. Do I need to do that? Some models you prime twice? Yeah, I mean, it happens. I've primed models that were red, that I primed with white first, and I've primed gold models with black first, yeah? Suppose it depends on... Because, I mean, a little bit of the undercoat paint always does show through, right? Like, I feel like if you prime Retributor armor over white, you'll get slightly brighter gold than you will if you prime it over black. I don't like red over black. I never spray red over black. I only ever spray red over white. But everybody's got their own way. Like I think some of the time I've just sprayed red and not bothered with the white. But I'm like a creature of habit. Like, I'm worried that everything will look different if I do it different ways. It's probably a lot more expensive to spray them white first and then spray them red afterwards, but if you've been doing that for a long time, then do you want to change it up? I don't know. But yeah, someone must have told me about the metallics and must have said to me that you need to spray a base coat down before you put on the metallic spray. But I guess if you do put that base coat down, I had no problem with the Retributor Armor Gold. I actually thought it was a very good paint. Like, out of the spray can, I thought it was very good. It was very gold. Like I said, sometimes you still want to touch up bits even after it's come out, even after you've sprayed it gold, like, because it's just maybe not perfect, but I did think it was good. So what models is everybody painting at the moment? Like, what's high priority for Blood Angels players? Are we back to painting, like, are people back painting Sangway Guards, Death Companies and stuff, or are people doing a little bit of what I'm doing and maybe painting some Gravis stuff? Like, because for me it's usually the most competitive stuff that I find its way onto my painting table. I've been finding Heavy Intercessors very good and very competitive, so that's kind of why I'm doing these guys, because I feel like they deserve to be finished, because they keep finding their way into my army lists, because I think they're very competitive. Am I still down with Thunderhammers? Yeah, I don't use them at all in 10th edition. I think they're terrible. Maximus is painting a Vindicator right now. Andonius is thinking Blade Guard. Did you see my game against the Grey Knights, Andonius, with the 6th Blade Guard with the Judicaar? Because before that game, or before I entered the Tabletop Tactics League thing, I was like right on the fence. I was like, am I going to do the Blade Guard with... Am I going to do the Blade Guard with the Captain, or I'm going to do the Blade Guard with the Judicaar? And I think the Judicaar is so much Like, it was 100% the right call. Because he charged the Blade Guard with like a squad of Terminators, right? And like, because of the Judiciar, I gotta kill 3 of his Terminators before he even got a fight. And by killing 3 of those Terminators, it meant that the Terminators that were left, they actually kind of whiffed their roll. Or maybe they didn't whiff, but either they whiffed and I saved really well, or maybe they actually did okay. And I just remember that like the 3 Terminators that came in after, I'd killed them with the fight first. I want to say they only killed 1 Blade Guard. So it's like I lost 1 Blade Guard and he lost 3 Terminators, and he charged me. And that was huge in that game, because it was like, alright, now it's my turn. I can actually fall these Terminators back. Like, if I want to fight before him, oh, maybe I have a question about that, actually. So hold on, if someone charges you, and the Blade Guard have the Judiciar with them, you fight first, right? Because they charged you. But then when it's your turn, do you get to fight before them again? Because you fight first? With that, like, I wouldn't have needed to spend CP and fall back. I could have just stayed in combat and fought first again, is that right? But regardless, so I think what I did in that game is I actually did fall back, because I wanted to fall back so I was out of line of sight of a bunch of models and then recharge. So I think I wanted to do that anyway, because I was just going to take like peppering fire from his from all his other units, and I was like, right, Blade Guard aren't that great against mass volume of low AP shots. So I was going to fall back anyway, but just curious, someone clarify that for me. So you charge me, I fight first, then in my turn, do I fight first again? But regardless, the 6 Blade Guard with the Judiciar, with the fight first, I was 50-50 on whether I was taking a captain with the Judiciar, because I thought the captain will give them the free Armor of Contempt, the captain will give them the free Red Rampage. Oh my god, I think at least in this game, the Judiciar was huge, man. Those Blade Guard were like in the centre of the board from turn 1, and they kind of held the centre of the board for me. They're not even that expensive squad, like 250 points. They held the centre of the board for me for like 3 turns and got me like a giant primary lead, just because you couldn't really kill them by fighting them. The charging player, charging gives you fight first. The other player always chooses first unit out of the fight first. So if the opponent does not have a fight first, so I could have just stayed in combat and fought first again. That's really interesting. I didn't actually know that. Because I guess normally what would happen is the enemy charge you, you fight first and kill a few of them, and then they mop you up, right? And then the fight first is kind of irrelevant because they've mopped you up. But those Blade Guard, with the ability to get that bonus on their invulnerable save, so they're saving on 4s but re-rolling 1s, and the fact they're 3 wounds a model, and the fact that you've got 6 of them, and the fact there's a Judiciar there as well, like, it felt to me like the Blade Guard were, yeah, they felt huge in that game against the Grey Knights. I thought I was going to really struggle against the Grey Knights, and when he finally killed the Blade Guard in like end of turn 3 maybe, or maybe it was, I think he went first, so maybe it was the start of turn 4. So it took him 4 turns to kill the Blade Guard and finally, I guess, sort of contest the middle of the map. But by then I had a squad of Death Company that were hiding just off the middle, that were able to jump in and take over the middle. So I just sort of felt like 6 Blade Guard with the Judiciar is actually probably really powerful again. I think fight first also takes precedence on an existing fight. I think it would as well, right? So normally, if it's your opponent's turn, sorry, if it's your turn, your opponent gets to choose 1 unit. Oh, maybe, maybe if he chooses that unit, it wouldn't matter though. If both units have fight first, the defender always goes first. I'm still confused. I find the fight first prevents people from charging you. I mean, it definitely does prevent people from charging you, which is nice. So he's not going to charge you with any weak squad. He is going to charge you with a squad of Terminators, and that's what he did. But the fact that I managed to kill like 3 of those Terminators really like negated a lot of his damage output. And then I think he rolled badly on the 3 that were left. So it was like the Terminators actually did. He tried to charge with 2 squads of Terminators actually. So if both squads of Terminators had made the charge, then probably the Blade Guard and Judiciar is dead. And that's why this ruling doesn't come up that often, because normally, I guess, you get overwhelmed, right? But in this case, I did not get overwhelmed. In the next step, the defender also strikes first. And the defender is the person whose turn it is not. Is that correct, Frederick? So I would need to fall back and charge then. Like, I would need to spend the 1 CP for the Blade Guard to fall back and charge if I want to be fighting first in the second round of combat. Which is what I did anyway. I just wasn't sure if I got to stay in combat. Okay, so, yeah, okay. It's still super strong. The Blade Guard, the 6th Blade Guard with the Judiciar are still performing a lot better, I guess, now than they were before. The additional strength is helping them on the charge. Sixth Blade Guard is a very decent number of -2 damage attacks as well. I think the only thing that, like, the thing that surprises me with the Blood Angels is that we don't have a stratagem for additional AP. I know you can attach a Sanguinary Priest to certain units for additional AP, but you are very limited in terms of what the Sanguinary Priest can attach to, right? So I think that's the... You know, if we talk about the Codex, what do we really want from our Codex? I guess we probably want a stratagem that lets us get a little bit more AP, because some armies have managed to keep really high AP, like Chaos Knights and stuff. Some armies do not have good AP, and I would guess that our AP is not good because if you were playing against another Space Marine player and they use Armor of Contempt a lot against you, then AP2 on Power Fists into Terminators, for example, with Armor of Contempt is really quite bad. Like, you would need a lot of attacks. Yeah. AP2 is a bit rough, honestly. I feel like it's a little bit low. Does anyone else feel like our AP is still a little bit low, or is it just me? David, you're wrong. Sorry. If the Terminators charge me, I get to... If I've got fight first, I get to go first. They changed that in 10th edition to where it was in 9th edition. The way you were mentioning it, David, is it was the 9th edition rules. In 10th edition, they've changed that so the defender always gets to pick 1 unit first. I think that's what that was what was confusing me about having a fight first unit stuck in combat. It wouldn't matter that they're fight first because he could still pick that squad of Terminators to fight beforehand. More AP or damage 3 weapons. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm running Centurions. Centurions have damage 3 weapons. The Centurions are pretty useful. Centurions are our only way to get damage through weapons, and they are kind of cheap in terms of points, right? I think AP is low on infantry. Yeah, but it's kind of like, you remember when they said there was going to be less AP this edition, and then like Chaos Knights still have -5 AP? I think Chaos Knights AP is just crazy across the board, so we still have some stuff that has very, very, very good AP, I guess. Chaos Knights have crazy AP. Alright, I'll use some right-clicked Flesh Shade now, I think, on some of the gold. Does it really cancel the charge bonus? No, it doesn't cancel your charge bonus, David. It just means that they get to pick one unit to fight first. So if you charge the Blade Guard and they're attached with the Judiciar, they will get to fight, as long as your opponent picks them first. Which I can't imagine he would. I mean, I guess if he had 2 Judiciars and 2 squads of Blade Guard and you charged both, you'd only get to fight with one first. You'd have to pick one, right? If I had more Blade Guard, I would honestly like to try. I think it would be quite fun to try 14. Well, it would be 14 models, so it would be 6 Blade Guard plus a Judiciar, so that's 7 times 2. So you'd have 12 Blade Guard and 2 Judiciars inside a Land Raider. Would have to be a Redeemer to have the transport capacity to take 14. I think that would be quite fun to try, actually. I think people could... It's funny that Blade Guard only take up 1 slot. It's kind of like the same problem with those... the Nurgle Plague Marines, where like Plague Marines only take up 1 slot, so you can put 12 of them in a Rhino. It's a little bit silly, but I also think it would be kind of fun to try. Not many people are going to be like, whoa, you've got 12 Blade Guard plus 2 Judiciars coming out of that Land Raider. There's a lot of damage, a lot of survivability, a lot of tank as well. Charging gives you fight first, yes, but the Defender will always pick one. Multiple units with fight first make it a bit messy. Well, it just means that you would pick, the Defender would pick one, and then it goes alternative activations, right? It's cleaner than it was last edition, honestly, because last edition the fight first rules were just batshit. There were so many steps and stages that nobody actually knew who was fighting in what order or anything. So the fight first rules are better than they were. You know, it might have just been simpler. You remember when it used to be initiative and everyone had an initiative and just you fought on the order that your initiative was? Might have been just simpler to have an initiative value, but hey, like I said, I do think the fight first rules are better. They were a bit crazy last edition, so. Alright, yeah, so I have got maybe like another 10-15 minutes today. But tomorrow I'll be back doing the Army List show. It looks like the computer seems to be working fine. So things will be back to normal on the channel hopefully this week. We'll get a tactics video out on Friday as planned. We'll play against the Eldar on Wednesday night. The Wednesday night game's going into... I gotta beat Kev on Wednesday. I want to go 2-0 on this tabletop tactics league. I would really, now that there's actually like there's a league that I'm in, I really want, and I'm playing Sons of Sanguinius, which people think is weaker. I really want, you remember on the channel like a couple of times, I want to say like maybe 3 times since this channel started, I've had like 3 win streaks on the channel. I think when the channel first started I won like 20 games in a row. Every Wednesday I filmed a live game and I won like 20 in a row. Did that one time. Then I think it was like at the beginning of 9th edition when like I had this crazy list actually at the beginning of 9th edition that was like attack bikes and centurions, and I think it was maybe like a boatload of Sangry Guard, the Whirlwind. I had such a good list at the beginning of 9th edition. I never actually got to take it to a tournament because a couple of the models got nerfed before I got to the event, but it was honestly such a good list. And I think that list went like 15 or 16 games undefeated, and then I had to change it because the rules changed on me, which was really quite annoying. But that list was crazy good. And then more recently in 10th edition with Gladius, I did another time where I went like 14 or 15 wins in a row. I think with Gladius it was like maybe 15 or 16. So and that's why I wasn't playing Sons of Sanguinius, because I was like, I don't particularly like playing Gladius. Like, I want to be playing a melee army like Blood Angels are. But at the same time, I'm like 16 wins in a row or something stupid with Gladius, so it's like hard to be like, oh, I'm not going to play Gladius anymore when Blood Angel's melee's really struggling and I'm winning every game with Gladius, right? So, my thought, like, I really want to now go on a win streak. I'm playing Sons of Sanguinius, I've played 3 games, I feel like I've sort of figured out a list. I've got this double Land Raider list, I've won 3 games in a row, I feel like I can probably beat Kev, so we'll give 4 games in a row. I beat Andrew's Drukhari, which actually just almost won a GT. He was 4-0 last weekend at a GT. He lost the final game, so he didn't win the GT, but he was super close. And I think the game he lost in the final, he had like 7 to 8 points. So his Drukhari actually played really well. So I beat the Drukhari. So I really want to make like a big win streak and get a nice position in that new Tabletop Tactics League. That's the goal for me for the next few months. I love League play. I also kind of love League play when I don't have to go away from my family at the weekends and stuff, because must admit I'm struggling to get away much this year. I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. If you can't hear them on the stream, they're screaming their heads off downstairs, so I'm probably going to have to... Well, I'm not going to probably have to. I'm going to have to go very soon and deal with that before. So yeah, I haven't been away to any overnight tournament in like. So I think last year I played 2 GTs and 1 team tournament. I did win the team tournament. And the year before that I played only 2 GTs and maybe like a couple RTTs, but none of them require me to travel away from like where I live, right? I did say to my wife, like, can I go away for a tournament later this year? And she did say yes. So I think it was about the same. Like, I think I went for my first tournament away when my daughter was about 3. So I guess once the kids are 3, it's easier because they actually understand you and you can tell them, like, stop misbehaving and stuff like that. So in the interim, being able to enter this Tabletop Tactics League from the comfort of my own home is brilliant for me. So I'm going to do that and try and get like 10 wins in a row. Got the GT that we're running here in the summer, and then maybe towards the end of the year I'll finally get away overnight to GT again. And there's advantages to getting away overnight for GTs, isn't there? Because you can have some beers, you can make some friends. So that's hopefully... and then maybe in like 24 months I can come to that the Adepticon GT in Canada and meet a bunch of you guys. That'd be cool as well. Last edition was full of fight first. Yeah, but last edition was also full of fight lasts, Cambo, and you had fight firsts and fight lasts, and it was a messy disaster, I feel like. I feel like it's less messy this time round. I also remember sweeping advance, wiping entire squads. Yeah, I remember, what was it like, when your units were broken and they had to just move towards the edge of the board, and if they ever reached the edge of the board, you just lost the whole squad because they basically fleed. The rules for 40k have changed a lot over the years, huh? I also remember dangerous terrain rules. I remember losing like a squad of jump infantry one time because they jumped onto a bit of ground that was dangerous terrain, and we had to roll a dangerous terrain roll, I guess, and they did terrible, and half the squad are basically dead from a crappy dangerous terrain roll. I think you had to roll dangerous terrain back in the day if you landed on a building. I think that was maybe it. So I tried to land on like a second floor of a building, and they all, and like two of my jump intercessors just died because of dangerous terrain. I can't remember precisely, but I do remember losing troops to just like land, or maybe even landing on rubble. It was just like, that's dangerous terrain, you got to take a roll. Oh, a couple of you guys died because they landed on a bit of rubble. Good old suppression fire for the whirlwind. Yeah, we missed that, don't we? So if you get charged, David, and the enemy have the charging bonus, I was going to say, you need to just read the bit in the rulebook about who picks which unit. So if the enemy charge a squad that has a Judiciar attached, and that's your only source of fight first, you will get to fight first even if you were charged. And that's the strength of the Judiciar and like the Blade Guard. Because Blade Guard are really quite durable. They're 3 wounds, that's nice. They've got the Storm Shields, that's nice. They can sit in cover, and they can get Armor of Contempt. So the way I've been doing it is I've been putting the 6 Blade Guard and the Judiciar inside the Land Raider Redeemer. I've been rolling the Redeemer up to the center of the board. If I have to charge out of the Redeemer, I can do that, because obviously the Redeemer has the Assault Ramp rule, so I can charge out of it. But if I don't need to charge out of it, then I'll unload the Blade Guard, hopefully into cover, hopefully into a bit of a obscured / line of sight position on the center objective, and I'll just sit there with the Blade Guard and say, charge me if you want, because when you charge me, 6 Blade Guard will get... You get 4 attacks per model, right? So if you charge my Blade Guard, and all 6 of them are alive, I'm going to get 24 Strength 5 minus 2 damage hits. I can also reroll all my 1s if I want to, because I can activate Shield of the Sorry of the Emperor. So hitting on 3s, 24 hits, or 24 attacks, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s. I can tell, I know the math for that. It's like a 77% hit rate. So you're probably going to make, so it's basically 80% of 24, so you're going to make 19 hits at Strength 5 minus 2 damage. So against like Terminators, on average, you're going to make them take about 9 or 10 saves at minus 2 damage. So they're going to fail half of them, right? They're going to fail like 5. Well, pretty much, and then and that's before you add in the Judiciar's attacks. He gets like 5 attacks, Strength 7 minus 2 damage. So yeah, statistically, if you get charged by 5 Terminators with a Blade Guard and a Judiciar, statistically, assuming that you use Sword of the Emperor, and I don't know why you wouldn't use it, you probably kill 3 Terminators. And that's pretty big, because if you kill 3 Terminators, even if they're like a 3-man plus a captain, you just like literally half their damage output. So when they come to fight you, they're only fighting with half the guys. So you might luck out and only lose 1 Blade Guard like I did, and it's friggin' huge. I was very it's like that's a huge swing, right? Like, because normally if 6, what was it, like 6 Grey Knight Terminators? 6 Grey Knight Terminators charging squad of Blade Guard, I would think I would probably statistically, because I'm trying to think, Grey Knight Terminators get like 4 attacks per model, so that'd be 20 attacks. They hit on 3s, so maybe like 13, 14 hits. They wound on 3s, so maybe like 10 wounds. They're minus 2, so the Blade Guard's saving on 4s. So yeah, they should kill probably 2 or 3 Blade Guards statistically, but instead they lose 3 of their models, and they only kill 1 Blade Guard. Those Terminators are on, that's like a giant swing against them. They're on the back, they went, that's why I think the Judiciar is the better option than the Captain. I do like the buff the Captain gives. Mark, how you doing? Good afternoon. We only had 1 F up on the stream, Mark, so I think my computer's kind of working again. I did actually render out the Grots video as well, so it looks like video editing is working again. It looks like I'm actually going to have to go off here in just 2 minutes though and go deal with the kids though. I can hear them screaming downstairs. I'm on borrowed time. Good afternoon, Mark, though. I hope you're well. Are we filming this week then, Mark? Or is there... I was going to say, if we're not filming any Warhammer this week, do you want to film some Star Wars this week? If you guys don't know, there's a new Star Wars card game coming out on like 6 days from now, right? I guess it's coming out on Friday? It's basically Star Wars meets Magic the Gathering. It's called Star Wars Unlimited. Me and Mark have been playing it a little bit. I got some cards here from like the demo set. I don't know how well these are going to show up on my camera. But yeah, it's Star Wars Magic the Gathering. So me and Mark have been playing this a little bit. It's pretty fun. I like it. Pre-releases this weekend. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of people already have like shiny cards and stuff like that. I'm a little bit jealous, but I feel like even if I went to a pre-release, I wouldn't. I never win those damn shiny cards, man. So I don't care too much about them. I just hope I get a few of the cards that I need to make some sort of decent deck, I guess. I was hoping to get a game against Kevin Brett as well at some point. Maybe even try and rope the wife into a game. That might be a stretch too far. Oh, you did the pre-release today, Mark. How was it? Tell me. Give me the gory details. Do you get any cards at the pre-release then? My OBS is a million times cleaner than it was before. You wouldn't believe it though, right? Like in my old OBS, I must have had like 50 scenes in my Blood Angels, scene, or 50 sources. Now I have like 7. So my OBS is I still have to fix a couple of things that I just realized since I got live this afternoon. But my OBS is in a million times of a better state than it was before, so that's good. Phil says if I make it to the GT there, I'll bring my cards. Cool. Yeah, let's do it. We'll have a game. I was thinking, because I don't think the hall that we've rented closes straight away after the GT. So I was thinking of like seeing if we can get some sort of like pizza buffet put on at the end of the GT. And then people could just chill and hang out for a bit rather than just be like, it's over, go home. Got 8 booster packs, 6 in pre-release and 2 extra free, nothing insanely rare. Is it fun opening the packs, Mark? You go to another one tomorrow. Cool. I need one more colour to finish up tonight. Screamer pink, that's what I need. So these heavy intercessors are completely washed now. Both the red armor and all the metallics. So now it's just going to be a case of any final tidy up, because there will be a little bit of tidy up, and then maybe next time I come to these guys I will be painting. I will be doing transfers. I haven't done transfers in ages. I haven't finished a squad in ages. I finished a bunch of squads before 10th edition, but since 10th edition I've been bouncing around, unable to finish anything. So it's going to feel real nice to actually have something to finish. But 10th edition has been a weird edition in terms of like, it was hard to know what to paint for Blood Angels, right? Because like all our melee stuff was a bit rubbish there for a minute or two. So the melee stuff is better now. But I'd got so far with these heavy intercessors, I was like, yeah, should finish those guys because I'm going to be playing with them a bit and I want to get them varnished, so I want to get them finished. And every time I use the heavy intercessors, their survivability always seems to cause enemies problems. So Alright. I better go and deal with these kids. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Thanks for helping me test. I know I was muted at the start of the stream for a bit as well. There might be the odd teething issue over the next few weeks, but we shouldn't miss any more. How long have we been streaming? About an hour and 20. It has to be a bit shorter today, Terrence, because up until just before the stream was live, I was still setting up OBS from my friggin' computer dying last week. It was so monotonous setting up OBS. I did not realise how bad it was, but it was just like so many different scenes with camera placements and stuff like that. It was like, normally you set up OBS, you never have to do it again. It was so boring trying to set it all up. I actually had to go and get a coffee because I was like, man, I'm falling asleep just adding cameras and sound sources. But it is there now. We are back. We are up and running. Good day, Antonius. How are you? Nice to see you. Yeah, I've missed you guys. It's been it's weird. Like I said, when I have no computer, it feels like I'm cut off. And I don't mind like answering messages and stuff on my phone, but like I'm just more of a PC person. I guess I always will be more of a PC person. I like to use the computer. I think it's more efficient than trying to write messages on a phone or anything like that. So cool. Put some of these guys to the side. We are finishing here in the next minute or two. But yeah, I hadn't installed a computer in years either, so there was like a few. Like I just realised on the stream that I was like, I've not actually inserted my Windows CD key. Like it never asked me for it. I feel like my PC is better for focus. Yeah, you know, like if I'm working, man, I try and put my phone to the side because I guess the phone isn't really a device you work on, right? I was trying. I spilt some red paint on one of these guys' stupid metal. I was going to say these metal chains that come out of their legs. One of them has red paint on that. That's the one. There it is. There we go. Alright, heavy intercessors are 95% done for me. I'm only going for a battle ready scheme, so they're gonna get finished like next stream, 100%. I say 100%, I'm probably lying to myself. I'm probably gonna find enough. I'm very good at finding problems and going back. But anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I was going to say, what time do I normally do the show? It's 8 o'clock, isn't it? So I'll see you guys tomorrow about 8 o'clock to do the Army List show. I'll see you guys on Wednesday night for a live battle report against Eldar. That one will be going into the Tabletop Tactics app. And then I'll see you on Friday for a tactics video, hopefully. Enjoy your afternoon, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Please leave a like on the stream. If you didn't, I hope that's all good. I think we're working again. We're back. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys soon. Peace. Oh, in my old scene that went on top, so maybe that needs changed. There's definitely going to be teething problems. See you later. dear, what have we talked about today?